Hey everybody, uh, welcome back to Dwarf Fortress. In our last set of three videos, we talked a lot about how to get started and things like that. I got really excited about it, mainly just because I love this game. And now we're actually ready to play. So I think as I play through here, what I'll do is I'll try to take it fairly slow and explain the things that I'm doing. This video isn't necessarily intended to be a tutorial from now on, but I think it would be very good for people to see that, yes, Dwarf Fortress can be complicated, but at the same time, it's very rewarding and it's not impossible to learn. If I can do it, so can you. So, um, I guess what we should probably do now is we should load up our Dwarf Therapist so that we can actually kind of allocate some labors on some dwarfs. So let me get that added to, let me get that source added here. Oh, it's not showing up. There we go. Okay, so this is what we call Dwarf Therapist. And you can see here are the 7 dwarves that we have. Um, this is a pretty cool utility for people who are new to Dwarf Fortress and for veterans because it makes your life so much easier. Um, so basically, what you can do is um, you know, as default, it's going to sort, it's going to group your dwarves by migration wave. As I had mentioned in some of the previous videos, you will get migrants that will come to your fortress, and every time that that happens, you'll need to hit this read dwarves button to include them into into the actual program. It'll read them and it'll add them into the list, which will allow you to enable or disable labors that you do or don't want them to do. So let's just go through this and I'll kind of show you what I do at the start of the game to make sure that my dwarves are on task, because it's very, very easy for your dwarves to not be doing what you want them to do. So basically what you want to do is you want to look through here and you want to make sure that the dwarves that have tasks that you want them to do, they don't have a bunch of other tasks enabled that the game could pull them off to do. Just an example, this person here is our carpenter and our woodcutter. So maybe we don't want to have all these hauling tasks enabled. What hauling is the actual movement of an item from one place to another. So if the hauling is disabled, that means that this character won't, go grab items to be moved from stockpiles and things like that. And so it can be very useful if you have a dwarf that you want to have them just absolutely focus on doing just one thing. So if we look through here, we can see Bomric Nisharith is our cook. Cooking is enabled. You can tell by the blue outline around it. And weaponsmithing is enabled, of course, but also has all the hauling enabled as well. And I think that's fine because we won't be doing a lot of cooking at the start of the game, and we won't be doing any weaponsmithing for quite a while. So this is probably a good one to actually have the hauling enabled on so that they stay busy. Other tasks that we might end up enabling on them just to kind of have somebody available to do it might be butchery, so that they can butcher animals if needed. We might also enable tanning on them just in case you butcher an animal, you want to tan the hide. And then whenever you want to enable something, you'll see it'll get the little plus over here under pending changes. And to actually make the game recognize those changes, you need to click this button that says commit changes. So we're going to do that. Boom. And now it is committed. Anything else we might want to put on this person? Maybe plant gathering. We might do a little bit of that at first just to supplement our food. Maybe animal care, so that they'll make sure to take care of the animals, like give them water, give them food and stuff. Make sure that they don't run away. Okay. That looks pretty good. So we'll make sure that that's committed. This person is our miner. Is one of our 4 miners. Also has armoring enabled. You can see it does have feed, patients, and prisoners enabled, and that's pretty good to leave enabled on anybody. What this means is that if you have somebody that is in the hospital sick, any of these people will give them food or water, and the same is also true for somebody who is in a jail. But you don't normally have to worry about that until later in the game. So we are going to be doing quite a bit of digging at first, so it's probably a good thing to leave these off for this person. Again, another miner. I think this person is also, yeah, our expedition leader who also has appraising and judge of intent. So it's probably fine to leave the hauling off on them. Um, we probably want to disable the woodcutting on this simply because we don't, whenever we designate some things to get chopped down, we don't want this person to have the axe but be doing something else, and then this person can't get the axe. So that's fine. All right, so this person is our mason. And if, as you could see, it's our mason and our doctor, and the game has decided to enable a whole slew of things on this person, including hauling. And here's why that's not going to work. Because pretty soon, masonry is going to be probably our busiest job. We're going to make a lot of rock doors. We're going to make a lot of rock thrones and rock tables. And this person is going to be extremely busy. For now, it's probably not a huge deal to leave that on, but we will very shortly be changing that. Um, this person is a woodworker and a carpenter. Okay, that's fine. Miner and a brewer, and a little bit of, yeah, this is also our organizer. Okay, and a miner and a farmer. Mm-hmm. All right. I think these all look fine. You can also look at their military skills if you click on this tab. And as you can see, we didn't embark with any actual military skill. We're going to kind of count on maybe getting some of those in a migrant wave and then setting them up with some basically useless dwarves that we get to form the backbone of our military. But you can see that they do have some stats here. So like this triangle indicates that this person has very, very high strength. In fact, they are mighty, whereas this person is just very strong. A red shape means that they're on the other side of average. So even though this person is extremely mighty, they're very, very quick to tire. So and then weapon and shield, you can see that they're missing this stuff. So, all right, you can look at social, so we can see that where they have some social skill at, which we did allocate some of that. There's just an attributes, roles, and then we can actually look at the animals, and we can designate which ones we want to be butchered, which ones we want to be gelded. Caged, etc., etc. So, and normally I don't really tinker with this too much, but it could be kind of fun. Looks like we got actually some horses here. That's a male horse, and what in the world? Huh. I don't know. Can't really tell. I mean, it looks like a female and a male symbol. So, oh, huh? Maybe I don't. Maybe it's gelded. I'm not sure. Okay. So it would be really nice to have a mated pair, though. All right. So let's switch back over. We may have to enable some hauling on some of the other people if things aren't getting moved fast enough. But for now, we can leave this as it is. So we'll switch back over now to the to Dwarf Fortress. I need to set up a hotkey to switch those scenes. It's faster than clicking. So how are we going to get this done? I mean, obviously we're dwarves. We don't want to make our fortress above ground, although that is an option. So we're probably going to be wanting to dig into the ground. Now, as you can see, the game started us off on top of basically a hill. These little green up arrows mean that this is a ramp. So this ramps up to here. We could, what we could do is we could set up something like we could put a ramp going down into another level here and dig into the side. Well, we would have what we'd have to do, because this is we want to get down. We want to get down. Uh, we'd probably dig a ramp and then dig a few layers down, and then we would remove these ramps from over here. We could probably like wall it off, and then we could have our trade depot set up here with just enough space for a wagon to come. The biggest thing with the trade depot is there has to be a 3 wide space, so like 1, 2, 3. This would have to still be ramped to where they could get up. And the reason we would want to remove the ramps is to make it more defensible. If we were invaded, it would force people on foot. I mean, I think that they did add into where things can climb now, but hopefully it would force people to come through this main gate, and we could surround them then. So what we'll do first is first we'll go into our nobles screen by hitting lowercase n. And this is the nobles screen, and this is where you fill the different nobles positions. Expedition leader is automatically filled. We're not really going to mess with that. We don't need a militia commander right now because we don't have a military, nor do we need a sheriff. We don't need a hammerer. We do, however, we are going to need a manager, a broker, a bookkeeper, and we will set up our chief medical dwarf because we have one. We did set somebody up for that job. So for your manager, this is going to be the person that you're going to be able to send work orders to. The only requirement being that they're going to have a desk to process them at. So it's a natural fit for your manager to be the same person as your bookkeeper. Because the bookkeeper job itself requires a desk to do the work. So our bookkeeper and our manager is going to be the same person. And if you look here, it'll tell you if anybody has a relevant skill, which the only person we have is Thob Genetsadel, who is a novice record keeper. So we're going to hit enter, and now he is our bookkeeper. Now, if you look to the right of his name, you can see that the word require is highlighted in red, and that is because his job requires something for him to do it. So if you look at, well, not that. If you hit enter while on his name, it'll say holdings, no office, and to the right, needs, meager office. So that just means that he needs at least a meager office to do his job, which can be as little as really just a room with a desk and a table. So what we'll do is whenever we build our bedrooms, he'll have a bedroom that's the same size that everybody else's, but it will also have some additional furniture. I do want to hit S for settings on this bookkeeper, and what we're going to want to do is we're going to want to set this to highest precision. And the reason a bookkeeper is so important is because without a bookkeeper, whenever you look at your stocks screen for your fortress to see exactly how much you have of every item, if you don't have a bookkeeper, all you're going to see is a bunch of question marks. And that's pretty important because you don't want to run out of certain things. So, and we want it to be very, very precise. So we're going to set this to highest precision. Now, he will not start counting anything until he has an office, but it's good to go ahead and get this out of the way. Manager, same person. And then Chief Medical Dwarf, we've got this guy, Sarvesh Amistar, Novice Diagnostician. And then Broker, our broker is going to be our expedition leader. So that's going to set up our nobles, and then we can hit escape because we're done. Now we're still paused. We're probably going to set a few things in motion, and then we'll unpause to show you kind of what the game actually looks like when it's being played. So we sure do have a lot of trees. We do probably want some wood. So what we're going to do is we need to designate some trees to be chopped down. So the way you do that is by clicking, or I'm sorry, pushing the lowercase d, and it brings up your designation screen. And then you're going to hit lowercase t, and that'll be chop down trees. And then you can move your cursor around, and whenever you get over a tree, you just hit enter. And then you can hit enter again if you want to do one. Or if you want to do more than one, you can do something like this. And now both of those are marked. What that does is it makes like a square here, so anything within that square would be designated to be chopped. We don't need a whole lot of chopping done right now, but we'll go ahead and chop out this part right here. And that should give us plenty of wood to start out with, and it'll keep him busy. Next thing we're probably going to want to do is we're probably going to want to gather some plants. So it's the same thing. Normally what I do is I'll hit enter, and you can move the X over one at a time with your arrow keys. Or if you want to move it a little faster, hold down shift and tap the arrow key once to move 10 spaces. 10, 10 more. So we're going to designate that whole square to be picked. And as you can see, there's a few plants there to be gathered. Now we actually need to designate a ramp to be made, and then we'll start digging down. You can't just dig down right here. You have to designate a ramp first. I'm pretty sure that was one of my main sources of of confusion very early on. So let's see. Do we need to channel? Or just downstairs? Let's try downstairs first. See if that works. We'll put it like maybe here. Okay, it says it's going to work. We'll see if it actually does, or if we actually need to add a channel there. All right, so we're unpaused. Okay, it is working. So they're digging down. Very good. And as you can, so that, can we do an up down stair there? It's much easier if you just dig straight into the side of something, but I don't really want to mess with having to go down a level. Plus, it's this is pretty defensible. So we'll see if they can get that dug out. Okay, yep, so they're digging down. All right, so we're not gonna want to build out probably here. This will actually be probably a farming level. What we're gonna want to do is, and we don't really need to worry about farming right now. We will set one very small farm up shortly, so that we can get our plump helmets going. But what we want to do now is we want to dig down, and we probably want to get a workshop level set up pretty quickly. But I don't want to get it set up until I can get to a level to where I know it's going to be rock and not like soil. So what we're going to do is we're going to designate, and then we want to hit I for up down stairs, and then hit enter. And then move it over to here, and what you can do if you want to designate multiple levels of up down stairs at the same time is hold down shift and then hit the period key. And so we're going to go down 1, 2, we'll do 3 and see where that gets us. And then hit escape and we'll resume. And let's see what we see here. So we've definitely still got there's definitely soil there, soil there. That's sand. Okay, so it looks like we've hit stone. This is where we wanted to be. We got some citrines here. Those can be cut into jewels. Now we could go ahead and try to build our workshop level here. But I'm kind of worried because, I mean, this is sand. I kind of want to go down one more level just to make absolutely sure that we don't get sand or soil or something like that. And you're probably thinking, well, why does it matter? Well, two reasons. Reason number one, I just don't like the look. But the main reason, really, for most people is that something you can do to drastically improve the moods of your dwarves and the worth of your fortress is called smoothing the stone and then engraving the stone. And if you cannot smooth or engrave um, non-mineral walls, so like sand, can't do it. So what? Yeah, you'd have to basically build whole new walls, tear them down. Which I mean, that's a doable thing. So let's go down one more level. So we're gonna hit D for designate, I for up downstairs, and we're gonna make one more. Okay. All right. And should just be some minerals here. Very good. Okay. Now what we're going to do is on this floor, we're going to make our workshop level. Typically what I like to do is I like to keep my workshops and my stockpiles pretty close together. Now I've tried a lot of different patterns. I've read about some different patterns on the internet. Ultimately, what you choose is up to you. Really it's all about having fun. There's no wrong way to do it, really. So I'm just going to build it in a way that I think is efficient and aesthetically pleasing, but not terribly challenging for a new player. So something that can be very, very simple to design would be something where you hit enter. So what we're doing now is we're hitting lowercase d to designate, and then we're hitting D again for mine, because we're actually going to be mining out these areas now. So I hit enter, I go down to here, and then I'm going to hit, when I get down here, I'm going to hold down shift and hit left arrow. And I'm going to make this 20 spaces long. Now the reason you want to make this 3 wide is because dwarves can't pass through each other. They will actually have to wait for other dwarves to move. So making a hallway at least 2 wide, preferably 3 wide, can really, really help with the speed at which your dwarves can move through the fortress. And it also puts a little bit less load on the actual computations of movement. So we're going to do the same thing on each side. It's just going to make like a cross. Okay? So to show you again what we're doing, okay, is if I was at the main menu, I'm going to hit D, and then it's already on mine, but if it wasn't, I would hit D again. That's lowercase. Then I'm going to hit enter, move over, hold down shift, and hit down 2 times. So now these are going to be our main artery hallways, okay? Now, for workshops, a workshop, most of them are at least 3 by 3. If you build a 3 by 3 workshop, it makes good, efficient use of space. But often what can be very helpful is to open out like a 5 by 5 area for the workshop and have the 3 by 3 set in the middle of it, and then around the edges you can set a specific stockpile for that room to put raw materials that one would use. And I find that to be very, very useful. So what we're going to do is we're going to start here, and we're going to hit enter because we're mining again. We're going to go up 5, and then we're going to go over 5. And now if you look down here, you can see this selection. It says 5 times 5 times 1. So what that means is that it's 5 wide by 5 high, 1 deep. Now if we did this, now it's times 2. So it's going to put it on both layers. But we don't want to do that. Anyways, whenever you got the 5 by 5 laid out, you hit enter. And now that's designated to be mined out. Now if we just let this go right now, it would not get mined out. Do you know why? Because nobody can reach it. You have to have an opening. So I really like my workshops to have multiple exits. Just because I think it lets the dwarves move around a little bit better. So we're going to add an exit in the middle there and in the middle there. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to make another 5 by 5 workshop right here. And then I'm going to make another one. And then I'm going to put this here and this here. And then I'm thinking what I might do is on the opposite side, I'm going to put some more 5x5 workshops. Okay. All right. And then what we'll do is we'll come back here, hit enter, and do just like that. And now we'll have 6 workshops that'll get mined out, and that'll be very good. And then we'll probably leave this space over here for future workshops. Now we're going to need some storage space. Now we could build 2 more workshops here and here, and then have this as storage, which that might actually work out pretty well. So we'll do that. Okay, very good. And then we're going to want the only downside here is that this room right here will not have access directly to the storage room, but that's okay. Then we'll go like this. And we're going to link those up again. So that's what our first craftsman wing is going to look like. Now what we could do is we could also wrap this around, and we could have storage, like back here too. Like say we could do something like this. Okay. Oops. Forgot to move over. And now basically what we have is we have an even bigger storage area here. So a lot of times you can start out by thinking, oh, I don't really need that much storage, but in Dwarf Fortress you can amass quite a bit of stuff, especially if you're not very careful with your stockpiles and everything. So it's probably better to build a little bit more than to build a little bit lean at first. Plus, anything that you leave outside can be stolen by kobolds, Kia birds, things like that. I've mentioned that before. Okay, so that looks pretty good for a start. So what we'll do now is we'll hit space to resume, and they should get to work. Now, you look up here, you can tell how many dwarves do not have jobs. It says idlers. It's going between 1 and 2. Let me make sure that auto labor is off at this point. I don't normally like to turn auto labor on until a little bit later. Okay, so it was actually on. Auto labor can be really, really helpful because it basically what it does is it supersedes the function of Dwarf Therapist, and it will actually take over and automatically reallocate, reassign work priorities, enable the tasks. But I don't normally like to do it at the first part of the game. If you do, that's fine. I just because I like to have a little bit more control over what gets built and when at the start of the game. So as you can see, they're mining away. They're not mining super fast. They don't have a ton of skill. Especially the cook there, you can see he's bless his heart, he's working really hard, but he's not getting a whole lot done because he doesn't really have a whole lot of mining skill, but he's staying busy, which is good. If you ever want to see, what's going on with everybody, you can hit U. And lowercase u, this is called the unit list, and it'll tell you what everybody's doing. So we can see that we got 5 people digging, our woodworker has no job, and our chief medical dwarf also has no job. They'll both be hooked up pretty quickly once we get these workshops knocked out. will build probably a carpenter's workshop and a mason's workshop very fast, and they will be very busy. Oh, I completely forgot about our pets. So we're going to pause. Something you want to do with your pets is you need to designate a pasture. Yeah. So if you hit F1, it'll take you back to, it's hotkeyed to the location of your wagon. Now this location that we've got presents some challenges in that you want your pasture, wherever you set it, to be close to, you know, close to how to get into your fortress. The downside of what we've got here is that there's just not really a large space to where we could put it on top of the hill. So we might actually have to put our pasture down a level, which means if we ever do get attacked, that could be a real pain. So it could be a real pain. I guess we could pasture them. We could pasture them here. Maybe. Yeah, that'll probably work. Yeah. So to make a pasture, what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to hit lowercase I. Wait, is it I? Or is it P? Let's try I first. Yeah, it's I because P is stockpiles. Pastures, and what this is going to do, we're going to assign our grass feeders to this pasture. And at first, since there's only going to be two, the pasture wouldn't necessarily need to be very big. But as migrants come in, they're going to be bringing more and more animals with them. So I like to designate a pretty good sized pasture just right from the start. So you hit enter, and it's going to start the designation. What I did is I pushed shift and down arrow to move it down 10, and then I'm going to make it 20 long. And as you can see over here, it says new activity zone, and it's going to have 225 tiles in it. Then you hit enter, and now it's going to let you pick what kind of activity zone it's going to be. This is going to be a pen pasture, so we're going to hit lowercase n. And then what we want to do is we want to do shift in for uppercase, and now see it's showing us all the animals we have. Now we could assign every animal that we have to here, but that really doesn't make a whole lot of sense. The main reason we brought a cat was to catch vermin. The main reason we brought dogs was for watching for thieves. The only thing that really needs to go here right now are the horses. It does look like they're a breeding pair, so that's good. So what you do is you can either hit your plus or minus key to move around, or what I often do is I hit Shift G, and now it'll just show you the grazers. And then you hit enter to assign it, and then escape, and you're done. And somebody, probably the person that has the animal care enabled, will move them over there. So we're going to back out of that. Now something else we need is we need a refuse stockpile. So we're going to hit P and then R, okay? And a refuse stockpile is where the dwarves will throw trash. So we don't want it to be too far away, but we don't want it to be too close, because rotten things that go into a refuse pile can produce vapors called miasma, and it can give the dwarves very, very unhappy thoughts. So what we'll do is we'll probably put it, how about we put it right down here. Right down here. And this one doesn't need to be too big. I usually like to go like 5 by 5 for starters. Now, you probably make it bigger as the game progresses, but 5 by 5 is fine. So we'll go ahead and hit enter there. That's good. And I think what we might also do is we're going to make another pasture. So I again. And this one we're going to put basically centered around our entrance and our wagon. And what we're going to do is we're going to designate this as a pen pasture, and then shift in, and we're going to assign the dogs to it. And what this is going to do is it's going to alert us, hopefully, if any like kobolds or Kias came and tried to steal something. And hopefully it would scare them off. Okay, so you can see our idlers instantly dropped to 0. I've paused it again. Something else that you want to do is you want to click on your wagon here and then hit X. And what that does is it's going to turn your wagon into some wood. So because the wagon's useless after you arrive. So okay, so I think that we've gotten a good start here. I think what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and chop it right here. And next time we'll finish that workshop annex that we've got going. I'll show you kind of like what I think are the most important workshops to get up and running. We'll make some stockpiles, and we'll try to get prepared for our first caravan in the fall and have something to sell to them. So thank you for joining me today, and until next time, get your game on.